Welcome back to New Rockstars. This is the big question, the show that gives you too much information about which planets have the best neighborhoods to settle into after your home world is randomly destroyed by a being from another dimension. My name is MT, and I'm here today with the one and only Jessica Clemons. What's going on, Jess?
I'm ready to become the realtor of the universe. Find you a new home planet. So your family's all gone and dead? Well, that's too bad.
Plenty of real estate opportunity in outer space.
Can I show you Jupiter? You will die from it being too cold.
Like, there's no air here, but there's plenty of free real estate.
They're like, damn, I could make a farm here, but everything will die.
Did you hear that in Japan that they're giving away like $500 homes? Basically, like selling homes for $500? Which is pretty great.
I gotta get off this right now. I gotta get off this call right now. So I got a ticket. I got a prior situation going on. Are we ready to jump into this?
Oh yes.
Are you ready? Are we ready?
Let's do it.
So you guys, recently on Loki, we saw the moon-destroying doom heading for the people of Lamentis 1. According to the Timekeepers, this civilization was supposed to be wiped out. But even if everyone on Lamentis 1 were able to escape, where would they even go? They would just be another exiled civilization in the MCU looking for a home, which seems to be a huge major theme, if you know what I'm saying. Are the creative forces at Marvel trying to tell us something? This all leads to our week's big question, which is, could we see the destruction of Earth in the main MCU dimension?
That is a good question, because whenever Kevin Feige does something in the MCU, he does tend to do it to prepare people for something bigger. Like in Loki, we're getting the introduction of variants, which is basically a primer for Multiverse of Madness and everything that's going to happen in Doctor Strange 2 and everything moving forward, and probably Quantumania too. Now, it is true that the MCU loves to wipe out civilizations, or at least put them on the run. It's a powerful narrative device that comes with an extremely high stakes for the characters involved. Plus, it gives the audience a way to instantly understand a character's motivations and empathize with their motivations to protect their home. But could there be more to it than that? Could Marvel be prepping us for something destructive to happen to our precious Earth? I hope not, Kevin. I love that Earth. I live there, and, well, hopefully there's an MCU MT. I would like to think that there's an MCU MT doing this exact thing.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh, what would that MT, would he be doing this? Or would you be like, well, give me pictures of Spider-Man? What
honestly, I hope I'm working for, like, I don't know, Baskin Robbins.
Oh, yeah, you would absolutely be killed if you worked at the Baskin Robbins.
The same Baskin Robbins from Ant-Man 1. That Ant-Man worked at. That's where I would be working. Okay, are we about to see the humans of the MCU running for the last evacuation ships off of a dying planet? Are we ultimately doomed? I think so. Doomed. Okay, let's start by taking a look at some of the exiled and extinct civilizations that we've already come across in the MCU. Starting with, of course, the latest one, Lamentis 1. They live on the livable moon of a planet called Lamentis, and according to the Timekeepers, everyone on this moon is supposed to die when the planet Lamentis fully breaks apart and comes crashing into it. And we don't know the reason behind the destruction of Lamentis. This planet had only originally appeared in Annihilation Conquest Prologue number 1 before it appeared in Loki. And in that comic, Lamentis is described as an outworld on the edge of Kree space. And if this Lamentis in the show is similar, then it's possible that this is a timeline where Xandar and the Nova Corps are not around to protect the Lamentis, likely thanks to the actions of Thanos, as we saw in Avengers Infinity War, or was alluded to in Avengers Infinity War, rather. I would have loved to see it in Avengers Infinity War, but I won't be greedy.
Oh, wouldn't we all?
It would have been really cool to see the destruction of Xandar.
Wouldn't we? Oh, after the movie, I was reading an interview that made me so mad, and it stuck with me forever, of them being like, there's just too many stones. They were like, there's too many stones, and we didn't want to do exposition on every stone. And I was like, I wanted to see every stone. I wanted to see
seriously, like, at least put it in the DVD extras, all right? Just like,
yeah,
exactly.
Make a director's cut. Make a
release the Russo
cut,
brothers cut.
Oh my
honestly.
God.
Okay, we can't start that. We can't start that.
Which, you know, they definitely, we could start it, but there's no such thing. He's like, I didn't shoot it. We talked about not putting it in. I'd like, reshoot the entire thing. I need this. But yeah, I'm still salty about it. Maybe I'm just salty today.
Anyway, without the protection of someone like the Kree, it could lead to a situation where the people on Lamentis 1 are about to be destroyed by the collapsing planet. And speaking of Thanos, he is the cause of many of the displaced and destroyed civilizations in the MCU. So let us check out some of this man's purple handiwork, because he has purple hands. He cannot do handiwork if the handiwork is not purple handiwork.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that, kids.
I remember those hands.
Do you now? Do you?
The tales those hands could tell.
You're killing me, Jess. You're killing me.
Call the horny police.
Bonked. You're getting bonked by the horny dog. Okay. And of course, we've got to start off with Xandar. Xandar is, of course, the home of the Xandarians, as well as a bunch of other alien species. And Xandar is also the capital of the Nova Empire and home base of the Nova Corps. And Xandar was home to 12 billion people, and then at least half of them were wiped out by Thanos in 2018 when he came to get the Power Stone. And we assume that he did his little 50-50 trick, because Thor just tells the Guardians that he decimated Xandar, so we don't know the exact thing that Thanos did to Xandar at this point. We're just going to assume that he just killed half of the people. So in order for Thanos to destroy Xandar, Thanos definitely had to have wiped out the Nova Corps, as they would have fought to the very last soldier to stand in his way. And this would have had a huge impact on the galaxy, as the Nova Corps are basically the highway patrol of the stars. And without them around to keep the peace, things would get out of hand super fast, like really fast.
Could you imagine the world without the highway patrol?
It would.
Do you know how good our life would be?
We would be free, going as fast as we wanted. Do you know how many
tickets we wouldn't be getting? You guys, hear me out.
Seriously.
We could have our own Autobahn. Going back to the Xandarians. If the Nova Corps are not existent, then there has to be like at least a few left, because it's also just like it's as Nova Corps are people, but it's also like a value. It's also like people just like the Nova Corps that are like, I'm gonna become the Nova Corps. So I feel like there's still some Nova Corps out there in the universe, but this planet definitely doesn't have that many.
Yeah, there definitely has to be some type of Nova survivor or survival of like the Nova, the hive mind, or I forget what it was called.
Yeah, the world mind. And also if the world mind, and so in Nova, the world mind, and which it doesn't have to tie too much to the comics, but in the comics where Nova straight up took over a bunch of people and was like mind controlling them so they wouldn't leave, she could just, or it could do that again and just bring more people into the Nova Corps. I mean, to be fair, the Nova Corps not lose a lot, but they like lose most of their people a lot. So it's like all for nothing, but they could easily bring more people in.
Oh yeah.
It's all you need is the world mind to brainwash people.
Yeah.
Just like Highway Patrol.
Just like the Highway Patrol. And like with the introduction of the Eternals coming up in the movie, and the concept of the Unimind and all this stuff, and a little bit of what we've seen with the Supreme Intelligence in Captain Marvel, who is like basically the amalgamation of all the past Kree people that have lived into one huge mega brain. I think that it's not impossible for us to see the world mind very soon. Okay, so next up is the Zen-Whoberi, Gamora's people. The Zen-Whoberi are a brace of green-skinned humanoids from the planet Zen-Whoberi.
Gesundheit.
Wow, from the planet Zen-Whoberi. And these people are Gamora's people. And we know from Infinity War what happened to the Zen-Whoberi. The poverty and starvation was a problem on their homeworld, so Thanos showed up to do a little bit of, resource reallocation, you know what I'm saying? Where that basically meant killing half of everybody on that planet, which wasn't very nice. But he did get a daughter out of that whole thing, so everything's coming up Thanos.
Hey. Just because you steal a child doesn't mean it's not your child.
Doesn't mean that's not your kid. That's you're the daddy now. That's just the rules of dad's work.
You know how mad I'd be to be another kid to see her survive and him choose her? I'd be like, why not me?
It's like, why do I have to die?
Don't kill me. I can balance a knife. Watch this. Start juggling.
I like to think that Thanos had like a pageant, or not a pageant, but like a competition where like he had all these little kids compete to live. Like, I'm just saying the Hunger Games. Now, while Thanos may claim that his actions brought about prosperity to the remaining 50% of people that survived, the Nova Corps database indicated that the species is now functionally extinct, and Gamora is the last of her kind. And this could be true for most of the planets that Thanos tried to correct. Wiping out half of the population doesn't always get rid of the civilization's problems. Instead, it creates a whole new host of economic and societal issues, as we saw in Falcon and the Winter Soldier pretty much. And maybe Thanos should have worked on this math a little bit more when he went around screwing with other people's planets. So, come on, Thanos. I mean, I know you're a genius and all, but let's do the math next time, okay?
He said, my bad. Oopsies.
Like, I'm not really thinking that far. He's like, murder first. Think about it second, you know?
God.
Genocide, schmenocide.
And next up is the Kylosians. The Kylosians hail from Kylos and are the species where Drax comes from. And they suffer the fate of Thanos' desire to rebalance the universe and were massacred by Ronan the Accuser. And we don't know as much about the continued existence of this species that takes everything super literally, which is the best part of that species. But if they suffer the same fate as the Zen-Whoberi after Thanos' balancing act, then their bloodlines may have petered out as well. Or maybe they're all just standing perfectly still and we can't see them, which is also very likely. That'd be hilarious if that's how the planet worked. If the planet didn't move, but you couldn't see it because it just didn't move, so your brain can't perceive it. That'd be hilarious.
I thought you were gonna say that if everybody on the planet was Drax, and I was like, oh god, that planet would be
that's
chaos.
basically what it sounds like, because they all take everything literally, so they're all basically just Draxes.
That is true.
Hilarious. So next up are the dwarves of Nidavellir. And Thanos wiped out these dwarves except for Eitri, and these were the dwarves that ran the Starforge that they used to make Mjolnir, the Infinity Gauntlet, and eventually Stormbreaker, which, is Thanos' little axe. I mean, really an oversight by Thanos to leave Eitri around, but yet another species wiped out by Thanos nonetheless. So it
wasn't as he didn't do it as an act of see what happens when you work with me. It was more so he killed him to be I can't kill you because I need someone to still make my stuff.
Yeah, it's I own you
I'm still gonna
now.
kill all your people. He's like, thanks for the gauntlet. Still killed them and was like, also, can you make me a gold spoon?
It's you make some pretty good shit, so
Hey, do you think you could make me a shake weight?
I'm gonna let you.
You killed my people.
He's I'm gonna let you live because your Etsy is pretty awesome.
Yeah. I saw the Etsy account and them socks are fire, dude. And I'm gonna come back.
Them solid gold socks. And next we have the Titans. We gotta remember the Titans now. And Thanos would not even have been on this mission if he didn't witness the extinction of his people of Titan. And even on Titan, overpopulation and a lack of resources led to the extinction of a species. And Thanos is the only survivor that we know about from Titan. I mean, we could have, Star Fox around there. We could have Alar still around here, just doing whatever they're doing, because they are eternal, so they're very long-lived people.
Yeah.
But this does go to show how the destruction of just one species can have immense ripple effects on the cosmos in general. And if everything had just been fine and dandy on Titan, so much needless death could have been avoided completely.
Or if they would have just killed Thanos.
Yeah, killing Thanos as a baby would have been pretty great.
The crazy thing about Thanos and Titan is the fact that he saw this problem and his first instinct was wow, we'd have more food and resources if we just killed half of us. So he goes to the leader, tells the leaders that, and the leaders are you're insane. We're not gonna kill half of us to feed the rest
He's
of us.
Oh, no, don't worry about it. It's gonna be completely random. And they're bro, you're insane.
It's literally insane. It's such an insane idea. And he the fact that he couldn't brainstorm any other idea. Any other ideas.
We could eat less meat. We could just, recycle. It's no, we gotta kill half.
We've tried nothing and we're all out of ideas.
He said, if we kill half of us, and then they're just oh, who are you choosing to kill? He's well, first, Doug, my neighbor, he's always snooping around. The mailman that keeps putting my mail in my neighbor's inbox. It's just how do you choose who to murder?
It can't be me, because we need someone smart enough to decide who to kill people.
I came up with the idea.
And next up are, of course, the Skrulls. Right? I don't know if you remember in Captain Marvel, them being exiled or on the run was a very big point of that movie. Okay, so in the MCU, the Skrulls' home planet of Skrullos has been destroyed by the Kree following a genocidal war. And this has the Skrulls scattered across the galaxy, hiding out wherever they can. And we're really going to see this play out in this upcoming Secret Invasion series with Nick Fury and Talos and all that fun stuff, which is probably going to be a super wild ride, and I can't wait for it. But could they be coming to take Earth from us, or perhaps steal another planet from an unsuspecting species?
It sucks because in the comics, the Skrulls and the Kree are both not inherently, they're not good or bad. Yeah. Because it's they both want to do terrible things. They have threats posed on Earth all the time. But in the MCU, which, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm taking that they're making the Skrulls the good people.
See, here's the
thing,
though.
And they're making the Kree the bad people.
So the Skrulls that we follow in Captain Marvel, they are good Skrulls, but
yes.
Skrulls are a huge race of people, and they're all probably there's probably good Skrulls and bad Skrulls. So the good Skrulls were probably hey, Planet Earth was pretty crazy, and then the other Skrulls were wait a minute, Planet Earth? You mean that's free real estate?
It's free real estate.
Let's take that. And so
it's like, oh wait, we can't just do that. We can't just do that, my dude.
I have this weird feeling that they're setting up Talos' daughter to be a bad Skrull.
A bad Skrull?
Yeah.
Oh,
and Talos is like has to go off against his daughter to like, save the planet because he likes the planet.
I would eat that up. I would eat that
I hope
up.
so. And of course we have the Asgardians. And as we all saw, Ragnarok finally came to Asgard when Surtur fulfilled his destiny and destroyed the Asgardians' home world. But as Odin told us, Asgard is not a place, Asgard is where our people stand. Which is a very smart way to never make sure your home base never truly gets destroyed. And those Asgardians that survived Ragnarok have found a new place on Midgard, but they could be on the run again soon if Earth faces annihilation. And I think of course it's worth bringing up Groot, because his story is one of exile. While the Flora Colossi weren't wiped out, our very own Groot was exiled from the planet X after he fought some of his vegetative brethren when he saw them being too mean to other helper mammals. And the Flora Colossi don't appear to leave their planet often, making Groot a very rare sight in the galaxy. If you look back to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, when the Collector, who's seen like a ton of different species, sees Groot, he's like, what is this? Who are you? I've never seen you before. So the Flora Colossi are very, very rare. So again, Groot's story is also one of exile and searching for a new home. Which leads us to the Dark Elves from Thor 2. Even those evil end of the universe loving Dark Elves are displaced people. Originally hailing from Svartalheim, one of the 9 realms, they had to go on the run after pissing off King Bor, Thor's grandpa, who fought a mighty war. King Bor fought a mighty war. I don't know why I love that line so much, but I'll always bring it up. But after spending some time chilling in suspended animation, the Dark Elves came back to end the universe once again, but this time Thor pretty much wiped them all out. I mean, we say pretty much because we did see a Dark Elf in the Collector's Collection before it went kablooey, so we don't really know exactly how many Dark Elves survived that altercation, but they're pretty much all wiped out because you don't really see them again. But maybe there's still a single Dark Elf out there just looking for a new home. Who knows? I think that'd make a really fun series. Just like a Dark Elf hitchhiking, thumb up. Just like, I just need a new home.
Oh, I'll take you.
I mean, I don't know if I would take it a Dark Elf because they're super creepy. Like, they're very creepy. And then, of course, we have Gorr the God Butcher. In Thor Love and Thunder, we're going to be introduced to Gorr the God Butcher. And wouldn't you know it, his backstory in the comics also involves a race of people struggling to survive and facing annihilation. In the comics, Gorr comes from a planet with no name where society consistently teeters on the brink of starvation. And they're told to trust the gods and that the gods will provide and answer their prayers, but Gorr just sits and waits while no god shows up and pretty much his whole family dies. So this sets him up on a path of revenge to wipe out all of these gods who never bothered to help his people. It's actually a very sad story, and I sort of get the frustration, Gorr, but murder is never the answer unless,
You've never been a villain. You don't understand them like I do.
You don't understand the struggle. I don't. I'm sorry.
Also, I don't know why. I don't know how. I cannot figure out for the life of me why these are my favorite stories. But stories where people are like in the comics series where they're like waiting for gods to come help them and the gods never show.
It's depressing.
Because it's like it's depressing, but it's like, I think it's because we see so much of the gods, and by the gods, we see like so much of Thor and his family and everybody in Asgard, that when we go to the normal comic books of the villains that are just like waiting for their answers to be heard by these people, and they're not getting it answered, and then they die, I'm always like, yeah, that make me mad.
No, I think you bring up a really good point, because like that is an interesting perspective where like, the gods and the heroes, they can't be everywhere.
But when they show up, do you know how hard it must be? And I mean, that's the reason for the writing. But do you know how hard it must be to like be like, Thor is my god, and you never see him until like New York is under fire by Loki, and you're just like, I've been over here
praying to you.
My daughter is dead. Like, she's dead. She starved to death because of you. Like, I get it. It's not the same, but it kind of like, that's why I like Black Adam so much. Like his story of like vengeance against like just kind of basically capitalism. It's like, well, now it is. Back in the day, it was like I was a slave and I wanted to kill all the masters. Now it's like, I see all these people in this like company being worked to death. I'm gonna go kill their boss. But like, it's like, I'm like, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go on with your bad self. Go do what you gotta do.
No anger is justified.
No, I really like that because if you think about, Asgard as a people and as a place in their history, they're basically like the 1%. They're the rich people. And like,
Yeah, they are.
and so like they're up on their, their high horse and like looking down at everybody. Well, meanwhile, everyone else is suffering. And like, it isn't this amazing paradise everywhere else. And like the Asgardians aren't doing anything. So yeah, like you said,
They're not.
You're right.
They're drinking and partying.
I do like that perspective a lot because like that does give Gorr some what do you call it?
Yeah,
Sympathy.
I can't wait. I can't wait for Gorr the God Butcher.
Yeah.
It's
Christian
I'm so
Bale.
excited.
That dude's gonna knock it out of the park.
He's going
Like
to
that dude's he's a method actor, so he probably is just out there in outer
He's-
space living it. He's just
Wouldn't be surprised if we hear that Natalie Portman got killed on set because he picked her up and threw her somewhere. Because he's that crazy.
he's like, oops, accidentally
He's not
killed her.
He's not Jared Leto,
Yeah.
on Joker crazy,
God.
but he is a method acting. I'm gonna be detrimental to my own health.
I feel like it's hard to
method
reach
acting.
that Jared Leto level of extra.
It's not hard. You just don't have to do it. You just don't have
don't.
to do it. That's all it
Yeah.
takes. Just don't
Just
do it.
act,
When
Jared.
you have that first thought where you're like, should I send my my coworkers weird stuff? Just don't do it.
Yeah,
you know?
usually.
Just
That's
don't.
why we have HR departments.
Hey, Paul.
Okay, so as you can see, there are plenty of examples of displaced and destroyed populations throughout the MCU. But is this all just a primer for our own fate? Could Earth be the one in the crosshairs soon? I don't know, but let's do a rundown of some possible destructive forces that could be facing the planet. Starting with, the most obvious and the most on our minds, the Celestials, because the Celestials be destroying planets. I don't know if you noticed, but they love to do that. It's basically a sport to them. These armored a-holes are for sure going to make their presence known in the upcoming Eternals film, and we already know that they have a penchant for blowing up planets that they see as failures in the genetic science fair, but could they be coming for Earth next? I mean, we can only hope that the Eternals have a plan to save us, or at the very least, a place for us to escape to, because that'd be nice to not be destroyed by Celestials just doing science.
It'd be cool to see them. Not cool to die.
One of my biggest this is like legit 100% true. I probably should have put this on the internet. But like one of my biggest irrational fears is seeing a big face in the sky. Like a big face.
Ooh.
Like, like show me what you got.
Me what
Rick
you
and Morty
got.
scenario. That exact
Show me what
that
you
exact
got.
scenario I would freak the fuck out because my brain could not process
Oh
that.
god.
So like
When they make Earth perform on the Universal version of American Idol, someone
yo,
check on
I
empty.
passed out. I
Somebody
passed out
check
and or
on
died
empty.
because that's a weird.
I don't know what I would do. I would just be like, well, time to steal.
Big face in the sky, time to steal, I guess.
Well, I would be going to like Target.
Wow.
I'd be going to like Target. I wouldn't be
Wow.
going to like my neighbor's house and be like, give me your iPad. I'm not gonna break into people's homes. I'm just gonna break into Target. Capitalism. I'm here to take it down.
I dig it.
Trying.
Okay, so the Celestials obviously are, probably the main threat to Earth at this moment in time. Galactus is still a thing, and with the Fantastic Four coming up, we could see Galactus coming up very soon. But of course, Galactus is the devourer of worlds, so it only makes sense that he would eventually crave the tastiest world that there is, Earth. Because I hear it tastes like, I don't know.
Pollution. Gas.
It tastes like pollution.
Greenhouse gases.
Galactus is a classic big bad in Marvel Comics. And like I said before, with the Fantastic Four coming to the MCU soon, there's a chance that we could see Galactus soon as well. So that's Galactus. But another really likely scenario for Earth's destruction could be the Annihilation Wave. Now, remember back to the beginning of the episode when we were talking about Lamentis 1 and how Lamentis has only appeared in comics only once before? Well, fun fact, that comic that the planet first appeared in had to do with the Annihilation Wave. The Annihilation Wave is, of course, the interdimensional army of Annihilus, a conqueror from the negative zone. And his only fear is death, so he spends his time taking this huge planet-destroying Annihilation Wave across dimensions, wiping out anyone who stands in his way. And with Lamentis coming to the MCU, it could be a nod to a future threat coming to Earth. But now, speaking of threats, we do have the multiversal crisis that we assume is coming up in Multiverse of Madness, or maybe even at the end of Loki. And we've heard a lot about the multiversal war from the TVA and Loki, and it could be a real threat to the Earth in this dimension. And it's possible that the citizens from an Earth facing destruction in an alternate dimension could come racing to our Earth for refuge, or even vice versa. Our dimension could need a new planet to go to, so we could be hopping to another planet for help, which would be kind of crazy.
Aren't we doing that right now? We are with Elon Musk. I almost said Elon Tusk. With Elon Musk.
I mean, with him sending that car into outer space, finding new life.
Don't even get me started on that car. Keep going.
And like I said before, with the next Doctor Strange film diving into the multiverse of madness, we could be looking at something similar to the recent Secret Wars comic event in 2015, which is one of my favorite comic events ever, and I think the first comic event I've ever read. Yeah, in that event, Battleworld was set up comprised of fragments of alternate Marvel universes and timelines, and the end results of Secret Wars altered the main Marvel Universe timeline and shuffled around some key players from the multiverse. And that's how we have Miles Morales in the main Marvel 616 universe, because before he was in the Ultimate Universe, Earth 1610. So, you know, if we have a Secret Wars scenario happen here, we could see another multiverse shuffle on a cinematic scale. We could get elements from the Fox X-Men. We could get maybe even a permanent, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man in the MCU. Who knows? Anything could happen. But that is it for my answer for the question. I mean, hopefully the people of MCU Earth are not going to face exile soon, but it would be great to see that, especially if they do the Builder War. Like, oh my god, the Builders. But before we continue on with this video, if you like what we do here on New Rockstars, you can help us do more of it by going to newrockstarsmerch.com. We've got t-shirts like this one. I finally got my swag. I got this variant shirt from newrockstarsmerch.com, and it is wonderful. I feel cooler than most people. But yes, we have t-shirts, stickers, buttons, hats, hoodies, and all kinds of cool stuff. So head on over to newrockstarsmerch.com to grab some cool gear and help this channel out, because it really does help the show. So Credit Karma wants to help you with a Credit Karma Money spend account. Get rewarded for good money habits. Credit Karma Money is a brand new checking account where you can win cash reimbursements for making purchases. And when you use your Credit Karma Money debit card, you can win daily instant karma purchase reimbursements on items up to $5,000. And just pay with your debit card, and if you win, you'll be notified on the spot, and your instant karma cash will be added to your spend account. And Credit Karma Money has already given away over $3 million in instant karma. Open your FDI insured account for free, and when you make a purchase between July 1st and July 23rd, you'll be automatically entered to win $1 million. And right now, visit creditkarma.com/winmoney to open your free account and start winning instant karma. Go to creditkarma.com/winmoney to sign up for free and start winning instant karma. That's creditkarma.com/winmoney. Instant Karma is sponsored by Credit Karma. No purchase necessary. Exclusions and terms apply. See rules. And banking services are provided by MVB Bank Incorporated, member FDIC. Maximum balance and transfer limits apply. And now it is time for our bite-sized questions of the program. And our first bite-sized question of the day is, what are some of the strangest things the Venom symbiote has bonded with, Jess? And this is from That Purple 57 on Twitter, which is great because
did you write this? Did you write this?
I'd be drinking some purple.
Oh god! Sometimes. Look at what you guys did. That purple.
This is my purple water. This is water, but I like to drink it to keep me hydrated. Of
course. Yeah.
Sorry.
Purple water. That's completely real. So. There have been truly insane and bizarre Venom symbiote combinations in Marvel Comics, and here are just a few of our favorites, specifically mine and Brandon's. Okay, ready? In an alternate timeline, there was a symbiote merged with Ben Grimm to make a rock-solid Venom. Can you see the images? Or do you remember? If you remember them, just yell it at me.
Hold on, let me...
Because the Ben Grimm symbiote is my type.
Hold on, let me see. Oh my yes, that is 100% your type.
My type.
It is a big man. That is a brute of a man. Oh my god, that is like 100% Thanos vibes right there.
That is, and it destroys you, like not like sexually, but like it in a fight, I would not go against that.
Hey, why not both? Is what I'm saying. I'm just kidding.
Why not? Okay, and then they also merged with both Rocket and Groot. Got a taste of the Venom when the Guardians had to watch over the symbiote for a bit, and it's just so funny because Rocket's kind of cute. And Groot is also kind of cute because Groot is just like, I
don't know. They look quite... Groot looks pretty terrifying. Rocket's a little bit less terrifying, but Venom Groot is terrifying.
Again, I love villains. Everyone knows this. So this entire list is just my cup of tea. I'm like, these are perfect. We got She-Venom when the symbiote took over Anne Wayne, Eddie Brock's ex-wife. We actually got a small live action taste of this in the Venom movie. Also, She-Venom itself is so cool. There was the time that Venom bonded with the T-Rex from the Savage Land, and we got this badass T-Rex Venom.
Are you talking about Devil Dinosaur? Is that what happened?
Yeah, and oh my god, you do not want this monster coming at you in any way, shape,
Oh my god, no, it's a monstrosity. It's not Devil Dinosaur, I don't think, but it's still a monstrosity of a... that's terrifying. That is terrifying. Wow.
Love it. Love it. You thought a T-Rex by itself was terrifying. Just wait until
Venom T-Rex.
the symbiote
Jesus Christ.
gets attached to this monster.
Yo, Jurassic World would be a different franchise. I'm telling you that right now.
Honestly, probably the same, because the T-Rex in Jurassic Park, that was its whole thing. It was like, it's killing for sport, or it's killing for fun, which is just like
That's
Venom.
true.
So
This is true. That's a good point. Good point.
Jurassic Park just took Venom. Okay, so we have the T-Rex Venom. We have Spider-Ham has faced a villain named Pork Grind, who looks like the symbiote-covered pig and seems to have all the same abilities. Of course, that's the one that you chuckle at. Pork Grind is super cool. It's a great gamer tag. Take it if you haven't already. And the image is so fun.
So funny.
Another one of my types if it wasn't an animal. And then finally, according to the Deadpool Secret Wars, the symbiote bonded with Deadpool before it bonded with Peter Parker. That would make Deadpool the symbiote's first contact with a human.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yes.
Like, that's so, like, when it comes to like the more comedic comics, like your Deadpools or your Squirrel Girls, it's like they keep making funny little retcons like this, where it's just like, oh shit, like, oh, but he was the first one, because it's funny that way. But like, is this like really canon? I guess it is canon because it's Marvel.
It's now it is.
Wild.
It's like, well, now it is.
They're so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
Now it is. Side note, I started. I read Squirrel Girl when I was younger. Thought it was fun. I was like, I didn't really attach it to the MCU because it didn't feel like that when I was reading it when I was a child. Now I'm rereading it and I'm like, God, I love her.
She's so great. She's so funny.
I love her. Reread Squirrel Girl, everybody.
The
It's
whole
very
comic is
refreshing.
ridiculous in the best way. Like, please read Squirrel Girl.
So those are a few of our favorite symbiote characters that have. There's also obviously more, but these are our favorite ones. These ones are very cartoony, very fun, also great to see in the MCU if they do come into the MCU.
For sure. But for our second question, we have from Grin and Barrick on Twitter, which is our off-screen's producer, Brandon. Thank you, Brandon.
Nepotism.
He tweeted
Does
us.
Harley Quinn have powers?
Great freaking question. I love me some
Harley's
Harley.
great.
Love me some
I mean,
HQ.
we got Suicide Squad coming up, so it's all about Harley these days.
Baby.
Baby.
It's always been about Harley for me. So the short answer is that Harley Quinn doesn't have real superpowers, and we're gonna get into it. But she's no normal average Joe, obviously. For her transformation, she was gifted. She had a genius level IQ, and she was the most badass gymnast. She was literally could have been the Olympics. Like, she's amazing. But those aren't superpowers.
She's just talented and smart.
They are in terms of these people are superheroes for us today, but in the comic book world, that's not a superpower. She's just amazing. So the character was originally conceived for a Batman animated series from the 90s, but she quickly became a fan favorite and was absorbed into the comics. Her original origin had her simply driven insane by the Joker, but that has been since revised. Her story now involves her being dunked into the same chemicals that the Joker was transforming her skin and hiding her in her sanity. But there's so many different things that it could be that there is no definitive line, except for in like one comic book issue a long time ago where he's like, 98% sodium, 20% this, and it's like,
you can make it from home, kids.
You want to make crack? It's like, no, we're gonna leave it here with saying that we don't know what's the chemical that's in there, but it has been insinuated that they should have killed a normal person. So the fact that both the Joker and Harley Quinn survived the dunks must mean that they are some sort of very special person. And also, in the comics, Poison Ivy injected Harley with a special toxin antidote that made her immune to various forms of chemicals, as well as gave her enhanced strength and durability. In addition, she has mastery of weapons and fighting ability. In the DCEU, there has been no indication of her receiving the injection from Poison Ivy, though she does seem to possess some enhanced durability, as seen in Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey. She also has a pretty substantial ability to hold her alcohol and cocaine at times, if you saw Birds of Prey. Amanda Waller does say that Harley is crazier than the Joker, so maybe that's her greatest power, an obliviousness to danger that makes her invulnerable to fear and intimidation, which is a superpower. Also, side note, I guess, thinking about it, there was like one other person that had the acid that Harley Quinn and Joker did, but not to the extension of what Joker and Harley did. Joker and Harley dunked themselves in the acid. Joker also has been known to do it more than once. So it's like, yeah, he's just crazy. But like, I think it was the Creeper that turned into the Creeper because the scientist injected him with the same vat of acid that Harley and Joker had. But he wasn't dunked in it. He just had it injected to him. So maybe a small dose of it can just, he also was crazy, but like it can make you crazy. But those are like the three that I know of that it definitely has happened to. So yeah, maybe you do have to be a form of special human in order to dunk yourself in acid and not die from it.
Like, I wonder what makes these two crazy people so special that they don't immediately die.
I don't think it's that they're special. It's like the same with radiation, where it's like this is a horrible example, but one of my favorite episodes of Family Guy was they accidentally fell into this radiation and then they all got superpowers, and then Adam West was like, I'm gonna do the same thing, and then he got really sick. And they were like, why would you do that? And he was like, well, they got powers. And he was like, yeah, but it's not, you're sick now. So I don't know, I think it's just like different people, different bodies, like, but maybe they have strong immune systems, so it didn't kill them.
I think it's all those gymnastics that Harley does. I think she primed her body.
Oh yeah, but Joker doesn't do.
She's just running around the city, just being crazy. I think that burns.
Do you want to take it to the next session? The next
box
part,
of scraps. Which is the box of scraps. I think scraps. I do.
No one cared who I was till I.
Box of scraps. Who loves the box of scraps? MT and Jess love this box of scraps. Is it true?
The box of scraps.
Mm-hmm. We do. I do. Ooh.
Look at what you did. Look at what you guys did to MT. He's going insane now. He's been dunked in the acid.
I'm so sorry. All right.
Oh, who's Kel?
Kel
Are you Kel?
Oh.
No. Between the two of us.
I don't know.
I think we're both Kel.
I think we're both Kel. I don't think there's a Keaton in this situation. We're just both Kel.
Damn it. Even if Jay was here, even if Jay Washington was here, he'd be a Kel too.
Three Kels and no Keenan, the podcast. So today's Box of Scraps question is, do you still buy and read monthly comics? And if so, which comics do you read and why? And this comes from MJ in Santa Fe on Discord. So thank you, MJ in Santa Fe.
Beautiful name. I'm right now I'm reading everything on Marvel Unlimited. Anytime there's a new series or movie coming out for Marvel, I like to reread as much as I can of the comic to refresh. So like for Loki, I was reading as much Thor comics as I could. I read like the 2010 Loki issues, even the little ones on the side. It's good. It's like $10 a month. And it has almost everything on there. And it has like all of the older like 70s and like 60s original issues to like most of them. So it's really fun to look back at it digitally.
Nice. All right. I love Marvel Unlimited. If you guys don't have Marvel Unlimited and you want to get into reading Marvel comics, it's literally the best way. It's literally their entire library, essentially, in an easy to use way. I'm like, go for it. This is not an ad. I just really like Marvel Unlimited.
Oh, well, it is a great, and it's like, you don't even, if you're so new to comics and you're just like, I just want to specifically read about this person, you can just type in the name and it'll give you all the issues that person showed up in. They package everything
so very smartly in the Marvel Unlimited app. So like, it's the best place to go to if you're first getting into comics. Again, not an ad. Great. We just genuinely love Marvel Unlimited.
Give me free Marvel Unlimited, Marvel. You heard this, Kevin Feige. And DC Infinite. DC Infinite
as well.
DC Infinite, same price, same stuff. You can read all of the old freaking Wonder Womans and all the old everything. It's really good, both of those.
Yes. For me, I'm not reading any monthly comics right now. I do like to keep up with comics as much as I can, but like this time has been kind of rough for me. But I have been rereading one of my favorite comic series of all time, which is Strangers in Paradise. If you don't know Strangers in Paradise, it's this like super old comic. And I'm mainly mentioning this because it's Pride Month, and it's about these two girls and their, I don't know, their weird adventures that they go on as they slowly, start to realize that they like each other. It's a really, really good. I'm not doing the synopsis justice, but I highly recommend.
It's about two girls.
Everyone read Strangers in Paradise because it's a nice little fun. It's not superheroes or anything. It's just a story.
I have a same plug, Girl from the Sea by Molly Ostertag. It's Pride, and it's a young lesbian tale about a mermaid and a girl, and they fall in love, and it's really good. And I just bought it.
And also read Lumberjanes. Oh my god, I was obsessed with that when it came out. It's so good. I
read Lumberjanes. Yes. Oh, yes. Lumberjanes is great. Lumberjanes is so freaking good.
So funny.
Lumberjanes is a good one. Lumberjanes, and I think I said it on this again, Lumberjanes and Rat Queens are two really good, just like female-driven, like just badasses. Just badasses.
Bitch Planet. Can't forget about Bitch Planet.
Someone watching this our podcast went and bought Bitch Planet for their wife, and then I tagged oh my gosh, how did I just forget her name? Kelly Sue DeConnick, and she immediately was like, "Thanks for spreading awareness." And I was like, "Kelly,
that's so cool. That's so cool."
I love her. Oh, everybody read Sweet Tooth now that it's on Netflix.
Jeff Lemire.
Sweet Tooth is such a good. Sweet Tooth is really good, and I haven't watched the series yet on Netflix, but I love Sweet Tooth so much.
But that is it for this episode of Big Question. I want to give a huge thank you to Jess for joining me this episode. You can follow her at Lulu Clemons. She tweets amazing stuff, so please follow her. You can follow me at MasterTainment. I tweet way less amazing stuff than Jess. So please follow us both on the Twitter machines. But most importantly, follow us on New Rockstars wherever we are, especially on YouTube, and hit that notification bell so you can get notifications whenever we upload a video. All right, take it easy, everybody. We love you. Bye.